Herzlich willkommen zum TextilWirtschaft-Podcast. Vor fast 15 Jahren hat Javier Goyeneche das Label Ecoalf gestartet und seither in Kooperation mit Fischern Tonnen von Müll aus den Meeren gefischt. Aus einem Teil dieses Mülls entsteht die Kollektion von Ecoalf und sie wird immer größer. Welche Produkte in den vergangenen Jahren hinzugekommen sind, was noch in der Pipeline steckt und wo Javier aktuell die größten Herausforderungen in puncto Nachhaltigkeit sieht, erzählt er uns gleich selbst. Daher ist diese Folge des Podcasts auf Englisch. Mein Name ist Charlotte Schnitzspahn. Hello Javier, nice to have you here. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, maybe in the beginning you could please tell us what you did before Ecoalf was born and how the idea for Ecoalf came to your mind.
Well, I had another fashion brand, which was called Fun and Basics, which I sold in 2008. And at that point, I thought I had finished with the fashion industry. So I decided I wanted to work on sustainability. So I spent nearly 2 years trying to find this big foundation in Spain who would have the resources to really make an impact, in terms of sustainability. I wasn't able to find that foundation with those resources. I think it still doesn't exist in Spain. What I got a lot is into this activism movement, which I really enjoyed. But at some point I decided, okay, why don't I try to create my own brand, that unites sustainability and fashion. My two sons had been born, Alfredo and Álvaro. That's why the name. And I decided to launch Ecoalf. I believe the most sustainable thing to do was not to keep on using natural resources. So recycling could be an option. We were able to make this new generation of recycled products with the same quality and design as the best known recycle.
You started as an outdoor label, right?
Well, more or less, yeah, because we started doing a lot of jackets. Outerwear.
But how big is your collection now and what categories does it cover? Because, for example, you started with luggage in 2020, introduced a premium line in 2021, and now also offer a more comprehensive sports line after yoga clothing.
Well, right now we basically, we do both men and women. For us, it's 50-50%. And we do practically total look. So right now, we can do knitting, jackets, trousers, shirts, polos, t-shirts, everything. And it's true, as you said, that we've launched 1 year ago, we launched the premium collection, that's where we're putting all the latest technology we have in the company in terms of sustainability, which sometimes price-wise didn't match with our main collection. And then we just launched 1 month ago the sports collection englobing biking, so cycling, running, yoga, and now surf, which we're launching the 4th of May.
As you just mentioned that the prices are sometimes the same in the main line and in the premium line. Is the premium line also one answer to the price increases?
Well, the premium line, I think at the end what we try to do is we work with this new filaments, which don't throw any microplastics back into the system, recycled cashmere, membranes, which are monomaterial with the fabric, which are a bit more expensive. So at the end, we thought, okay, let's make another line, so as not to put up the prices of our main collection. So that's why there's a difference in target.
All right. How many pieces are in a collection approximately?
250 in between all the lines.
Right from the start, you focused on recycling, for example, fishing nets and PET bottles. The latter, in particular, has now been the subject of criticism for some time because you are transferring a product from one cycle to another. What do you say to that?
Well, basically what we do, as I said before, we try to not use any more natural resources, So at the end of the day, we call it more than recycling, sometimes upcycling, We get something with very little value, like a post-consumer plastic bottle, or a discarded fishing net, or discarded cotton. And then what we try to do is a new product. So we transform that old plastic bottle into a down jacket, or we transform that discarded fishing net into a swimwear. So at the end, we feel that, first of all, we are in some way cleaning the waste which is in the world. And then, of course, not using more natural resources and saving water, energy, and emissions in the process. So I think it's more positive than anything else.
And you are also doing some more things to close the textile loop. So last year you had announced that you would launch Resell and Repair in 2023.
We're working on it. Yeah, absolutely. We're working on it. The thing is that we have made just now an integration with all the systems with this new SAP. And all those projects are sort of a bit on the pipeline because we need to have all the systems of the company all the integration in place.
A lot of your fabrics have been developed by you and your team. So how many fabrics have you already developed? And do you make them available to other players of the industry?
Yeah, well, I mean, when we went to the market, the problem is when I wanted to start the company in end of 2009, there were no cool recycled fabrics. So fabrics were only recycled in a very small percentage, 15, 16, 18%. And the textures were not very good. So we had to start developing those fabrics. We started with this amazing woman south of Taichung, 2 hours from Taipei, which was recycling plastic bottles to create carpets. But she had a lot of sensibility. And then since then, we've been developing with a lot of partners around the world. I think it's over 580 different recycled fabrics. No? Unfortunately, they're not available to everyone because we've always had the idea of having like this new other company, which we like Ecoalf Textiles, no? So had people, but that required a new team, new investment, resources, everything, and we really never found the time to do so. No? So we collaborate with a lot of brands, and when we do collaborations, and of course they have availability to all those fabrics, but it's not something that like we are in the market selling those fabrics.
Can you mention some corporations that have been very special to you?
I think that all corporations are special, no? It's not because they're different, no? So at the end of the day, we had a lot of fun with the latest one, no? With Gwyneth Paltrow for Goop, no? Developing those 5 down jackets, but I also had fun developing the uniforms for all the worldwide stores of Swatch worldwide, with Felder and Felder, which are 2 amazing German designers, which we got the prize for the best vegan collection that year in the world. I don't know. We always have fun with all the collaborations we do.
And what is there to come this year?
This year we are launching now in less than 2 months. We are launching our, like we call the wellness collection, which we've been working for over 2 years, which I think is very disruptive. I think is the kind of beauty Ecoalf should be doing. We have 2 obsessions, no? The idea of not creating any more waste. So with 0 consumption of plastic, everything is refill, 0 consumption of water. So because we're also very focused on not using natural resources, and we believe water is probably going to be most wanted resources in the future. So I think all this line is amazing in terms of design, amazing in terms of innovation, amazing in terms of, I think we've taken sustainability to a new level, no? And we're launching it at the end of May.
But it's not about beauty products. It's textile.
No, it's beauty.
Okay.
It's shampoo, it's gel, it's for your lips. It's has everything
so you
to do
are
with
really
your daily
expanding
life.
your product categories. Okay.
Yeah.
Once again, after luggage and everything. Yeah. So what do you think are the biggest challenges in terms of sustainability right now?
Well, I think there's so much to do. No, if you tell us, we are very obsessed with circularity. So that's why already last collection, 78% of our collection is monomaterial. That's the first step. No, I think everybody talks about circularity, but unless we work with monomaterials, it's going to be very complicated. No, unfortunately, I would say that probably 98% of the fabrics or garments that arrive into landfill are not monomaterial. So at the end of the day, you can only do this chemical recycling, which doesn't work. You get a fiber which is so poor that you cannot reuse it again. No, so the first phase is monomaterial, which is a huge limitation for the designing teams, huge limitation for the company, but that's the first phase. No. And that's where we're working a lot. We already launched last year the first 100% recycled cotton collection, which has been a huge challenge. We started with 10% recycled content in 2014. We've been 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 until we managed this 100% recycle. And you're able to recycle it again for 2 times because the third time the fiber won't be so good. But I mean, you can at least double the life cycle of those t-shirts or sweatshirts or polos, etc. No? And I would say that another thing which worries us a lot is the usage of water. That it's something that it's an obsession for Ecoalf, and the microfilaments. No, so that's why we've been launching already these new fibers which don't throw microplastics back into the system, etc.
And what lessons have you had to learn? What things couldn't you do the way you want, for example?
Well, I think that the daily lessons you learn is that there's so much to do, no? I think because I always say, that at the end of the day, to create a sustainable brand is not only about the fabrics you use, no? It's about everything that goes around. It's the business model around your company, no? So that's why we don't do promotions, we don't do Black Friday, we don't do a lot of things, which obviously put things more complicated for the company, no? But I think there's a lot of education to be done. That's why we give a lot of talks every year. We try to insist, that what you do is not enough anymore. I think how you do it is, I think anybody can make a building, but how is that building in terms of energy efficiency? Anybody can make a t-shirt, but what is the footprint of that t-shirt in the world, I think right now there's a big problem. I think landfills are full of garments. This is a disaster, and you could see it, a few months ago, probably the biggest cotton company in the world burning 4,000 acres of forest in Ethiopia. So we're burning the forest to plant cotton to make t-shirts of €5, which are going to finish in landfill in less than 2 years. And each t-shirt takes 2,000 liters of water. Well, that's not possible. I think we're going to be 2 more billion people by 2050. There's not going to be enough water. There's not going to be enough forest. And there's definitely not going to be space for so many landfills. So I think we need to change the system. We need to change the model. And we need to change the way we consume. That's very important. And that's happened that when we go to universities, you see this, a lot of young people, very activists, that they really want to make a change, but then they want to keep on buying 10 t-shirts of €4. Well, that's not possible anymore. And they always say, what do we do? I say, buy less. You don't need so many garments. I think that's one of the biggest problems of the industry. So I think there's a lot to do, a lot we learn every day, and a lot of challenges.
Yeah, there's still a lot to do. Also, we know about the climate crisis and the consequences for a long time. So what keeps you motivated?
Well, I think there's an incredible team at Ecoalf, which at the end, they have the passion and the soul to be really activists and to really try to do things better. I mean, we know we're not perfect and we don't claim to be so, but we do try to do things better and better. And we are very exigent with what we do. And I think when you see there's so many things to do, that's, I think, what motivates us.
How big is your team? So how many employees do you have?
I think we are like 160.
And what are your most important markets and what role does Germany play?
Germany is a great market for us. Right now, I think it's our third market. So after Spain and Italy. And it's very important. I mean, we've been there since so many years. We opened the store in Berlin in 2017. We've been going to shows in Berlin since 2016 or 2015. Now, for us, it's very, very important.
And how many stores do you have in general and in Germany?
No, we don't have a lot of stores. I mean, 65 of our business is wholesale. So we have like 1,600 doors in Europe. And shops, we have 10, no? We have in Madrid, in Barcelona, in Berlin, in Tokyo, in Paris, in Milan. We have 10. We open 1 or 2 per year.
And what is important to you regarding store design?
Well, each of our stores are different. So it's also a big challenge for us. We don't have like this franchise concept where they're all the same. So if you see our store in Berlin is completely different from the one we just opened in Madrid or from the one we did in Milan so it's a challenge for us. No, the latest one, the 2 latest one we've done are completely different. Both of them are net zero emissions, both stores. But one is being made by recycling 3.3 tons of plastic. It's all with digital printing. We did it in 25 days with the robots working. It's unbelievable. No? It's like a glacier breaking in half to show. And it was a very fun project to do. So the ones we'll do this year will have another thematic. The one we opened in Milan 2 months ago, it's in honor of all the fishermen we work with, which we work with nearly 5,000 fishermen, which collect waste every morning from the ocean. And it's in honor for them. So it's full of big portraits of the fishermen from Italy, from Greece, from Spain, from France, etc. Voilà.
So you just mentioned that wholesale is 65% of your turnover. How many points of sale do you have also worldwide and in Germany?
Well, in wholesale, we have like around, say, 1,600 doors in Europe. Of those in Germany, there will probably be nearly 300.
And in which markets do you see the greatest potential?
Well, we believe a lot in the potential of Germany. I think the brand still is very young in Germany. We still need a lot of awareness. We still have a lot to do. So we really like Germany as a market. Italy is starting to perform very well, which is not an easy market because the challenges in Italy, it's complicated. They have a lot of brands. So we're very happy and very proud. We're starting to push a lot now France. And I think we, at the end of the year, will be moving to the US. We'll start. That's why our next store will probably be open in LA because we're starting from that coast.
Okay, looking forward to see pictures of that store then, yeah. So as sustainability is a big topic also for retailers, are you seeing increased interest from wholesale?
Yeah, absolutely. I think since when we started to now, there's a big change, no? But at the end of the day, I always say the same thing, no? That sustainability is not enough, no? So also retailers, they want you to have a top product, amazing in fitting, quality, design, everything, no? So I think sustainability, obviously, it's starting to get more and more important, but it also has to fulfill all the needs of the customers.
And how do you communicate your efforts to retail partners and customers?
That's a big challenge. In our stores, it's easier because we show our customers how do we recycle the cotton or the wool or the fishing nets. We have our staff much better trained, etc. Now, when you go to a store which doesn't belong to you with wholesalers, then it's not so easy, no, to explain all the product and storytelling of that product behind. It's a much bigger challenge.
Okay, and what do you do? Do you train staff?
We try to train as much as possible. Our staff is completely, it's all the time being trained. And we try to go to the stores of our wholesalers and train their staff and explain them. We give talks, we send information, we send a lot of documents. We train a lot of our agents and distributors. Well, we try to do as much as we can.
And you also use social media or your own website to be transparent?
Absolutely. No, and since 2018, we are also audited independently. So each and every one of our clothes is audited by an external company. So you can see it in our website in terms of sustainability, water consumption, emissions of CO2. How is that product? No? So to have total traceability of everything we do. Yeah, it's very important.
So how much revenue does Ecoalf actually generate?
This year, it will be around 65.
So 65 million euro.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, of course, I think you still want to grow, but can you tell me how you can grow and stay sustainable? I think that's also a challenge, isn't it?
Well, that's one of the biggest challenges. I think that's probably for me, the biggest challenge. No? And I'm very lucky, I always say so, because I have investors which have understood perfectly from the beginning the philosophy of the company. And if we've had to make a tough decision, there's been no problem in making it. I mean, I remember in 2014 when it just came in and our second product was a polar fleece. That was a second bestseller. And then I discovered, every time you wash a polar fleece, it's 20,000 microfilaments back into the system. And we stopped doing it. And we've taken a lot of decisions since then. And since then, we've never worked again with a broken filament, like the one you need to make polar fleece. So that, I'm very lucky, because at the end, one of the most important things to be able, as you say, to maintain growth and maintain your values is to have the support of your investors. So, and that's very important. For example, we have a great challenge with we have the commitment. We are a B Corp company. We were just named one of the 5% best B Corps in the world a few months ago. We have the commitment to be net zero emissions by 2030. And, for example, we are not very good in online. So it's only 12% of our sales. But right now, with that 12% of our sales, we're doing more than 55% of the carbon emissions we generate. So we have a great challenge because there's obviously investors want us to grow in digital, and we say, okay, the more we grow here, the less sustainable we are. So at the end, we're changing a lot how we're going to do all this new digital approach for the next years.
What can you do about that?
Well, first of all, I think one of the things we need to try to educate our customers is that probably they don't need everything in 24 hours. Because, the problem is that if you need to take a plane to send a T-shirt to Stuttgart, well, that's not very sustainable, no? So we want to try to tell them, okay, why don't you let us take it by truck, no? Which is probably 4 or 5 days. It's not 24 hours, but that the difference in carbon emissions is huge, no? And if you want to really do this by plane, then you have to compensate, which that is not very commercial at the end of the day. But that's how it is. Then, especially Germany. Germany has a big problem with returns. The average return rate in Germany is 3 times the one we have in Spain. And that's something general. That's something that works with all brands, no? And that's something that people need to understand. I cannot buy 4 products to give back 3. Okay, I try them and I give back 3 because that's another truck coming back or another plane, and you have to relabel it and another poly bag, and it's a disaster. No? So I think we need to start working with our customers to tell them, okay, you need to be more responsible the way you buy, no? Because this is has no sense. I cannot believe that everything has to be in 24 hours. And I cannot believe that you need to order 4 things to only stay with 1. No?
Are you using technology like 3D design to reduce samples that are sent around?
We're starting. Yeah, we're starting. And we're trying to sell more and more through those tools instead of salesman samples. And yeah.
In the beginning, I already mentioned the price increases. How do you deal with them? Because that's probably also a challenge for you right now.
Well, the last years have been especially complicated in that part because, all raw materials have gone up, the prices, the transports from Asia has been incredible, no? Last year we were paying 14,000 euros per container, no? Which the year before we were paying less than 2,000. No? So there's been a lot of incremental cost, and also for the factories. Factories, they saw how the cost of electricity went booming, no? So it's been very complicated. We've tried to absorb almost all that incremental costs, so I've not tried to bring it to the customer. But it's true that it's been complicated, no? So we've been, last year we lost nearly 2.6 points in margin.
So maybe one last question. You already answered some for the nearer future, like the beauty line or the start in United States. But what are your long-term plans?
Our ambitions is divided in 2. First of all, we have Ecoalf company, which we would love to create an international brand recognized as a reference to sustainability and sustainable fashion. And then we have the Ecoalf Foundation, which is where I dedicate 25% of my time, which is all about the ocean and how create this awareness. Now, we started with our Upcycling the Oceans project in 2014. We started with 3 fishermen from a little port in Spain who let us put this little container in the boat, and all the waste that gets collected every time they pull out the nets, instead of throwing it back to the ocean, put it in the container and take it to the port. Right now, it's over 5,000 fishermen. We're in 45 ports in Spain. We're in 18 in Greece. We're in 14 in France. We're just starting Italy. And we're moving to Tunis, to Egypt, to north of Africa. And our goal is to work with over 10,000 fishermen by 2025 and collect more than 1,000 tons of waste from the bottom of the ocean every year. Not from the beaches, from the bottom of the ocean. And right now we are reusing 68%. So 68% of all the waste that gets collected, it's put back into the system, which is amazing. And that's something that we are very keen on keep on working, no? So those are probably the goals.
Okay, that sounds good. So thank you for all of these insights. That was very interesting. So one last question that all of our guests in the podcast answer. Who would you like to hear on the TextilWirtschaft podcast?
Many people, no? If I think about Germany, definitely Scott Lipinski, no, which is the managing director of the German Fashion Council, no, and has been working to promote sustainable fashion and circular economy practices for many years. No? So I would love to hear him. And then Anita Tillman, which started with all the shows and
we already had her
in Berlin. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
okay, then I have to put it. Then already done. So then I can hear her. Yeah, yes. She's been amazing since the beginning, supporting sustainability and promoting and fashion, no, in Germany.
So will you participate on the next fair, the next Premium in Berlin?
We've been going nonstop, so probably yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Then greetings to Madrid and have a good day. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Charlotte. Pleasure. Thank you very much.
Das war Ecoalf-Gründer Javier Goyeneche und das war der TextilWirtschaft-Podcast. Wenn Ihnen gefallen hat, was Sie gehört haben, dann bewerten und abonnieren Sie uns gerne. Mein Name ist Charlotte Schnitzspahn. Vielen Dank fürs Zuhören und wenn Sie mögen, bis nächste Woche.